To Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on around the world, what's being talked about. Like the video as you guys come in. We're just going to do a quick hot topics, trending topics, update you guys on what's going on around the world. I guess you learned about being impeached. I'm going to go ahead and play this video after I do my disclaimer. We might do a few topics, trending topics. I'll think about it. But I did want to go over this and update you guys on what's being talked about. Just a quick video. Got to stay within the algorithm. Got to stay within the algorithm. Yeah. In it, I got to try and stay within it. So, like the videos you guys come in. Thanks for being here. All comments are alleged, period. That's not what I said. All comments are alleged, period. Period. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, supporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Like the videos you guys come in. Let me finish doing my disclaimer. Please, hold on one second. Please like the video. Meaning, please give the video a thumbs up, please, and thank you. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and play this clip, and we're going to get into some more hot topics, trending topics. I hidden that yesterday. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this clip. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate it.
But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on. You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. They impeached me. I never knew I was going to be impeached. I get a phone call. You just got impeached. I said, what does that mean? It took them 10 minutes. They impeached me for nothing twice. It's an amazing phenomenon. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency. I will say that. But even if it's a successful presidency, there's been nothing like what we're doing. But even if it's successful, they don't win. I don't know what it is. There's something psychological, like you vote against. You can win by a lot. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But they say that when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. So you're all brilliant people. Most of you are in this business longer than me. But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on. You got to win the midterms. Because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. So we don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100.
So let's continue with the news of what's being talked about, of what he has going on and what's being talked about. Let's get straight into the news. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like the videos you guys come in.
The White House is cutting off $10 billion in social services and child care funding for blue states over concerns that the benefits were fraudulently sent to non-citizens. The move affects California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York. President Trump saying on Truth Social that a fraud investigation into California has begun, writing California under Governor Gavin Newsom is more corrupt than Minnesota, if that's possible. So Taylor, California features prominently in this story. I'll come to you.
So does your Minnesota.
Now, it does indeed.
But it's New York.
I admit, New York. We're all implicated here. Now, Taylor, this is Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a New York senator. She says the following. She says, to use the power of the government to harm the neediest Americans is immoral and indefensible. President Trump should not be doing this, in her view. How do you respond?
This is my version of Doge. So if Doge was sort of sealed back last year when Elon Musk left and went back to his businesses, this is the sort of second iteration of Doge. It is harmful, as Dagan has often pointed out, to continue sending money because it is wasteful and takes away from the people who really need it, if it goes to fraudulent corporations or whatever we'll call them. So I like this. I think this is a great scam. I think where there's one cockroach, there's usually 100. Let's find them, and then this will be sort of our version of Doge that I hope is more lasting than the actual Doge program.
So I'm gonna throw this to you, Dagan, and I'm just gonna add a layer to it if you want to engage. Why do we spend federal money on child care services? Should that not be purely a function of the states if they choose to spend money that way?
Do you really want me to go there?
I mean, if you're motivated to.
It's the children, Brian.
I don't think about the children. I do not think about.
Why did the federal taxpayer put $1,000 into investment accounts for children? It's the same reason. It's unnecessary spending, and we have this idea that money grows on trees when it comes to spending on the kiddos and child, having children, families, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, but this goes beyond that.
No, but it's why he asked me, what was his question? Repeat it back to me. I know.
This is your listening test, Charlie.
My point is.
No, I want to finish my point.
We can sit here and talk about the children.
Well, he asked me about child care.
I'm here to ask you about that. Now let Dagan finish her thought. Let her finish her thought, and then Charlie, I will come right to you.
Because it's the children. That's why. and the hacks who are in the Republican Party and the Democrat Party won't say no to anything if it's going to the children. And it's the same logic that Kirsten Gillibrand uses. It's like, oh, it goes to the needy. Well, actually, it doesn't wind up going to the needy because it goes to illegal aliens and fraudsters, con artists, criminals, and grifters. Well, that's where the money goes.
The Republicans would be idiotic to make this about the children, to get in this children debate, saying, let's get in a philosophical debate. Should federal money be used for child care service, whatever? That's a loser every time. Where they were on really good ground is why Tim Walsh is not running for re-election, is on fraud. And stick to fraud, because all these programs, they're on autopilot, and the money just keeps coming and coming. And when that happens, it is a recipe for fraud. And they're going to find it everywhere. They're going to find it in New York. They're going to find it they already found it in your home state.
But that's the nature of federal money. The nature of federal money is autopilot money.
But as a political matter, I think you stick to the fraud, because the fraud stuff is really bad. I don't think the average American would say, okay, well, if there's not fraud involved, should my taxpayer money be going to health care?
Right, there's fraud in Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security,
But there's a lot of fraud
SBA.
here.
If money is going out,
federal.
right, but if money is going out, it is being stolen.
The American people are never going to stop money going to children, okay? Now,
That's my point.
They're never going to do it, and maybe they shouldn't. I'm just saying.
We're sending
let
more
me
of it.
finish what I'm going to say, okay? What they should stop is fraud, okay? And that, once you stop the fraud, or at least clamp it down, obviously it's not that hard to find. Look what's going on in Minnesota. Like a kid with a camera found it last week. What's his name? Nick Shirley just walks in and says, there's no people here in this place, and this is funded with federal money. I think when you stick to that, this is the winning
My point is, you will never stop the fraud. We don't stop the fraud. We need to stop the spending. That's the only way to fight fraud, is not spend the money in the first place.
I would
like a lot of things that aren't fraudulent.
Charlie, I would like to invite Jackie into this melee.
I would just say what we've been saying for a while, which is that we don't have a revenue problem in this country. We've got an allocation problem. So when you're funding fraudulent programs and people are milking the system and taking advantage of it, I would side with you and say most people aren't going to want to defund the children, but the children who are deserving are going to have progressives on the left that will say, the illegal immigrants, all these people that are here should be getting this money. I'm not talking about them. That's extremist. But if we could, this reminds me a little bit of the Venezuela situation, which is so many people will stand back and just watch something happen and say, this is bigger than me or my administration. I can't fix this. And they'll just allow it to happen. I congratulate the president and his cabinet for saying, you know what, we're going to look into it. We're going to try to stop it. Somebody's got to try to do something. Most people pay their taxes willingly in this country and don't have a problem with it. We're the richest country in the world.
I don't want to pay taxes.
And we help a lot of people. However, when you see the mismanagement of the money, that is what becomes infuriating.
There's a huge degree of wokeness here. I mean, why did they look at the Somalis? I mean, let's be clear.
Because we know why. You'd be called racist.
You'd be called racist. I mean, it filters down throughout all this.
Look, Kristen Gillibrand went on to say in this statement, this has nothing to do with fraud and everything to do with political retribution that punishes poor children in need of assistance. So even if you want to keep it at the fraud level, they're going to tell you you're not cutting off funding because of fraud. You're cutting it off because you hate the children. All I'm saying is if Minnesota wants to provide health care or child care to their citizens, then Minnesota should pay for it, and California should do the same thing, and people in Arkansas shouldn't be sending their money to Minnesota to pay for child care. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Like the video. Fair use reaction clip. Let's continue with the news. Thanks for being here. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hold on one second. Okay. Like the video as you guys come in.
Cracking down on fraud in Minnesota, with Administrator Kelly Loeffler posting in part this quote. Today, our agency took action to suspend 6,900 Minnesota borrowers amid suspected fraudulent activity, circle suspected. In total, these borrowers were approved for 7,900 PPP and EIDL loans worth approximately $400 million. But Democrats are doubling down on blaming President Trump for politicizing the scandal.
We're taking fraud seriously. We're working every day to improve our systems, hold those criminals accountable, and move our state forward. That's why it's incredibly frustrating to me that Donald Trump and Republicans want to use this as a political vehicle to cut funding entirely to our state.
Minnesota State Representative Nolan West joins us now. He's the co-chair of the Children and Families Committee and is with us. Great to see you. Your thoughts about blaming Trump for something he had nothing to do with, nor did he have the job when most of this fraud was taking place?
Yeah, no, he's not governor of Minnesota, and that's not how our system works. We have industrial scale fraud here. That's what the attorneys have been saying as they indict 80-some people, and we're seeing convictions across the board. So that's around, they're saying, could be $9 billion. So when you look at $400 million for PPP loans, that's peanuts compared to what we're seeing in Minnesota. And this has been going on for years. So trying to make it a thing right now when nothing has been done, when we've seen nothing happening on this in years, just makes absolutely no sense.
So, Nolan, when did you know about it? And what was the biggest surprise, if anything, when it became exposed and getting more exposed every day?
Well, I mean, we've known about it for probably a little over a year, at least I have anyways, and a couple of these centers get over $1 million of tax dollars, and we checked them out, nobody's there. Then even KSTP News went down there. We had mainstream media down there seeing no children present. And that made a little waves, but it didn't come until Nick Shirley had that viral video of doing the same thing, and it was just starkly there for everyone to see. And if you're claiming, 40-some kids, I think it is, they're claiming and getting reimbursed by the taxpayer for, you go up at 11 a.m. or 1 p.m., and there's no children, that's insane. And then eventually they invited the mainstream media, the Star Tribune, that's our big liberal paper. They go in there, and there's like 4 kids, and they're like, look, we're a legitimate business. Well, okay, we can't, allegedly they are fraudsters, but if there's only 4 kids you're watching right now, but you're getting reimbursed over $1 million a year in CCAP, right, there's still something up going on there.
So Tim Walz put this on, and he's running for election, put this up yesterday. This is Trump's long game. We spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans. Really? So this has been his plan all along. So he says, well, you know what? We have had 70-plus convictions, 82 indictments. What do you say to that?
Every single one of those is from the federal government. At the state level, they have sat on their hands and haven't gone after these fraudsters at all. They've said, oh, we've hired a few investigators, but they can't even answer. Like, we ask them, how do you go after fraud? How do you detect fraud when you do your license visits? And they still haven't answered that question that was asked days ago. So I have a feel it's not enough. They should know better, but we have to get to the bottom of this, because $9 billion, we could help a whole lot more people, right, if we didn't have so much fraud in the system.
Well, if we're too busy helping Somalia and perhaps the Somali terror group Al-Shabaab. So now, into effect in Minnesota with the new year, you now have paid leave program, and it includes up to 12 weeks care for newborn or sick family members, 12 weeks for serious illness, capped at 20 weeks per year, and separate from existing parental leave that can run concurrently. So things are going to get even more lenient in Minnesota legally, let alone if you want to abuse the system. You guys ready to pay for this?
Oh, we've been warning them about how bad this rollout is going to be. And one thing that people don't know, you can designate one person annually as the person you care for. So I can designate my uncle living in Florida, go on vacation, and it's up to your employer to investigate whether you're really caring for that person or not. Like, that's just, there's no guardrails. It's going to be ridden with fraud, just like we see in our other systems. The honor system is not the best way to distribute all this money.
We got to look into Maine, Washington State, as well as California, and hopefully that's on the agenda. But you have your hands full over Minnesota. State House Rep Nolan West, thanks so much. I'm Steve Dusky.
We're also going to talk about this. I'm going to play this clip so you guys can hear what he had to say here. Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. We're just doing hot topics, trending topics right now.
Midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. They impeached me. I never knew I was going to be impeached. I get a phone call, you just got impeached. I said, what does that mean? It took them 10 minutes. They impeached me for nothing twice. It's an amazing phenomenon. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency. I will say that. But even if it's a successful presidency, there's been nothing like what we're doing. But even if it's successful, they don't win. I don't know what it is. There's something psychological, like you vote against. You can win by a lot. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But they say that when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. So you're all brilliant people. Most of you are in this business longer than me. But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on. You got to win the midterms. Because if we don't win the...
Okay, so we're going to continue with the news. Like the videos, you guys come in. Like the videos, you guys come in.
Washington this month can change how much you pay for health insurance, whether certain benefits get delayed, and even how stable things feel in the markets, all within a matter of weeks, not years. And for a lot of people, especially folks living on fixed incomes or tight budgets, that timing really matters. So before we go any further, quick question for you, and I'm genuinely curious. When you hear news about Congress or Washington, do you usually feel concerned, confused, or kind of tuned out? Let me know in the comments. And okay, with that in mind, let's talk through what's actually going on. So, Congress came back for 2026, and they didn't exactly come back to a clean slate. They came back to a pile of deadlines, all stacked on top of each other. The biggest one, at least in the short term, is the government funding deadline at the end of January. If Congress doesn't act, parts of the government can shut down. And I know some people hear shut down and think, yeah, we've been here before, but the reality is every shutdown creates delays, stress, and real disruptions, especially for people who rely on government services. Now, here's where this ties into your money more directly. At the same time as this funding deadline, its healthcare subsidies that helped millions of Americans afford insurance have expired. These are the subsidies that lowered monthly premiums for people buying insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And once those expired at the end of last year, premiums started going up right away for a lot of people like this month. What's more, roughly 22 million people were benefiting from those lower premiums. And now, without Congress stepping in, many of them are seeing noticeable increases in what they pay each month. For some families, it's not a small bump. It's the difference between keeping coverage or dropping it altogether. And I want to slow down here because this is one of those moments where people think, well, that doesn't apply to me until it suddenly does. Even if you're on Medicare or you have employer coverage, changes like this ripple outward. When millions lose or downgrade coverage, it puts pressure on hospitals, state budgets, and eventually taxes and premiums across the board. So in the House, something interesting happened. A small group of Republicans from swing districts joined Democrats to force a vote on extending these healthcare subsidies for another 3 years. That doesn't happen often. It's done through something called a discharge petition, which is basically lawmakers going around leadership because they feel the pressure back home. Supporters of the extension say it's about preventing immediate harm. State officials are already warning that tens of thousands of people in some states could lose coverage simply because it's no longer affordable. And yeah, when people lose insurance, they often delay care, which can lead to higher costs later, both for them and for the system. But then we get to the Senate, and this is where things get complicated. Senate Republicans have made it clear they're not on board with a clean extension. Some want tighter eligibility rules. Others want additional restrictions added in. And some are perfectly fine letting the subsidies expire altogether. President Trump has openly criticized the program, which adds another layer of uncertainty. So what you have is a situation where the House might pass something, but the Senate could block it or change it in ways that stall everything. And during that delay, people are still paying higher premiums every single month. Now, running alongside all of this is the government funding fight. Congress needs to pass spending bills to keep the government running. So far, they've only completed about half of what's needed for the full year. Leaders are talking about bundling bills together, doing what they call minibuses just to get things across the finish line. And both parties say they don't want another shutdown. We've all seen how damaging those can be. Federal workers miss paychecks, services slow down, and confidence takes a hit. And confidence matters because when people feel uncertain, They spend less, invest less, and pull back. And speaking of uncertainty, we can't ignore what's happening internationally. The administration recently authorized military action in Venezuela and capture its leader, Nicolas Maduro, without prior approval from Congress. Now, the administration says this was a law enforcement style operation, not a traditional act of war. But many lawmakers aren't buying that explanation. So why does this matter for your finances? Well, military actions have costs, both immediate and long term. They affect federal spending priorities, debt levels, and global stability. Markets don't love uncertainty, especially geopolitical uncertainty. Even if you're not watching the stock market every day, things like pension funds, retirement accounts, and even interest rates are influenced by how stable or unstable the world feels. Some senators are now pushing for a vote to limit further military action without congressional approval. That vote might fail, but the fact that it's happening at all tells you there's tension behind the scenes. And tension in Washington often translates into delayed decisions everywhere else. Another thing to consider is how all of this plays into the upcoming midterm elections. Lawmakers are very aware of how voters feel about healthcare costs, government shutdowns, and foreign conflicts. If premiums keep rising and Congress looks stuck, voters tend to blame whoever's in power. That political pressure can sometimes push compromise, but can also make people dig in harder. Now, beyond these headline issues, Congress also has a long list of other items they're trying to deal with. Things like energy permitting, cybersecurity funding, artificial intelligence rules, and even proposals to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. Each one of these has financial implications, either for markets, consumer protections, or how tax dollars are spent. And here's the part that often gets missed. When Congress is juggling too many crises at once, smaller but still important issues get pushed aside. That can mean delays in benefit adjustments, slower responses to fraud, or postponed reforms that could save money in the long run. I remember talking to someone a while back who said, "I don't follow politics because it just stresses me out." And I get that. But the truth is, these decisions don't care whether we're watching or not. They still affect rent prices, medical bills, and how far a retirement check goes. So then, what does all of this mean for you, practically speaking? First, if you or someone you care about buys health insurance through the marketplace, it's really important to review your premiums and coverage now. Don't assume it's the same as last year. Even small changes can add up over 12 months. Second, if you rely on any federal services, keep an eye out for delays or changes if funding negotiations drag on. Planning ahead, even a little, can reduce stress if something slows down unexpectedly. And third, from a broader financial perspective, this is a reminder to keep flexibility in your budget when possible. Uncertainty at the federal level tends to show up as price increases or service changes at the personal level. Having even a small buffer can make a big difference. Now, earlier I asked how you usually feel when you hear about Congress, and I just want to say, if this stuff feels overwhelming, you're not alone. A lot of people feel like decisions are being made far away without much input from regular folks. That frustration is real. What I try to focus on is understanding enough to make better personal decisions. You don't have to know every detail of a bill or every political argument, but knowing where pressure points are, healthcare, spending, stability helps you prepare instead of react. And yeah, what I'll say next might surprise you a bit. Sometimes, even when Congress looks completely stuck, the fear of backlash pushes last-minute deals through. We've seen it before. That doesn't guarantee good policy, but it does mean things can change quickly, sometimes overnight. So if something shifts, like healthcare subsidies getting extended at the last second, or a short-term funding deal being passed, it can have a
Like the video, like the video. There's about 95 people in the building. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
immediate effects. That's why being lightly informed, not obsessively, just enough, is actually a form of financial self-care. Now, as we keep watching how this plays out, remember the big picture. Healthcare costs, government stability, and global events are all connected to your day-to-day. Finance is more than headlines let on. And while you can't control what Congress does, you can control how prepared you are. If you've been following along and haven't shared your thoughts yet, feel free to join the conversation. It really helps everyone see different perspectives. And so, yeah.
Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
Well, good early morning, Carly and Todd. Let's start. We begin with Lucas Tomlinson live with more from the White House. Lucas. Well, good early morning, Carly and Todd. Let's start with some history this morning. Since 1992, whenever one party has controlled the White House and both chambers of Congress, that party has not kept control of all three after the midterm elections, and President Trump says the GOP needs to buck that trend or else.
So together we had 12 months of unprecedented success in 2025, and now we're going to make history and break records with the epic midterm victory that we're going to pull off. It just doesn't seem to happen for people to win the presidency. It's an amazing phenomena. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency. I will say that. You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
President Trump is briefing lawmakers at the Trump Kennedy Center in Washington.
So this is that video right here. Like the video.
Win the midterms. You got to win the midterms. Because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. They impeached me. I never knew I was going to be impeached. I get a phone call, you just got impeached. I said, what does that mean? It took them 10 minutes. They impeached me for nothing, twice. It's an amazing phenomena. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency. I will say that. But even if it's a successful presidency, there's been nothing like what we're doing. But even if it's successful, they don't win. I don't know what it is. There's something psychological, like you vote against. You can win by a lot. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But they say that when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. So you're all brilliant people. Most of you are in this business longer than me. But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on. You got to win the midterms. Because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me.
Let's continue with the news. Hold on one second.
You got to win the midterms.
Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. We're just doing hot topics, trending topics. Let's continue.
Washington at the GOP retreat. President Trump hoping the daring raid by U.S. forces in Venezuela to grab Nicolas Maduro and his wife could lead to unleashing oil from the country with the largest reserves in the world. The president posting, I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality, sanctioned oil to the United States of America. The president says the oil is not a gift, but will be sold at market price and controlled by the U.S. to help the people of Venezuela. The president says he's putting Energy Secretary Chris Wright in to execute the plan. And if all goes accordingly, President Trump says the Venezuelan oil will be shipped to the United States. This will be a big test for the new leader of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, if this deal is pulled off, guys.
We shall see. All right, Lucas Tomlinson live for us in Washington. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in former Energy Secretary Dan Brouillette. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for coming on with us. So this announcement that the Venezuelan government is going to hand over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil, I mean, it is an indication that right now the interim president is responding to President Trump's demand. So with that being said, how significant do you think this is when it comes to the direction all of this is going?
Well, I think it's very significant. I mean, it opens up again the Venezuelan market.
Please like the video. Please like the video. There's about 101 in the building. Please hit the thumbs up, you guys. Please hit the thumbs up. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
U.S. refiners. We have to keep in mind that much of this oil, this is heavy sour crude oil, It's a very specialized fuel in our system today. A lot of the refineries in the Houston area, Louisiana area, are designed to refine that type of fuel. So the president opening this up again to U.S. refiners, I think is very big news. And, I think they're excited about this. I think the president is absolutely correct to make this oil available to those refiners. I think the U.S. consumers are going to benefit over the long run because of these decisions.
How? Walk us through the numbers. Like, what does 30 to 50 million barrels of oil mean to the U.S. consumer?
Well, I mean, it's not a lot when you think about it. I mean, in the vacuum of 30 to 50 million barrels, it sounds like a lot of oil. But the world consumes about 100 million barrels a day, perhaps as much as 102 or 103. In the United States alone, we consume about 19 million barrels per day. So this doesn't, do a lot for us. It's about 2 to maybe 3 days worth of supply. But it's the signal that it sends. It's the fact that Venezuela could potentially be open for business again. That's a really big deal. And I think the president's moving in the right direction on that score.
And when it comes to potentially being open for business again, the current Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, man, he's got a big job on his hands today because he's going to be meeting with energy executives to try and convince them to invest in the Venezuelan oil industry. And right now, we're hearing that there is a lot of hesitation among these executives just because of how uncertain the situation is. So what do you think is going to happen there? Do you think that these executives could turn the Trump administration down?
Well, I don't know if they'll turn them down. I mean, it's an enormous opportunity for them to get back into the Venezuelan market. But look, Mike Wirth is the CEO of Chevron. They've been there a long time. They have very good operations there. Darren Woods, the CEO of Exxon. Ryan Lance, the CEO of ConocoPhillips. These are people who have known Venezuela and known Venezuela markets for a very, very long time. So they're going to put some pretty sharp pencils to any investments they might make there. And they're looking at a number of different things. Yes, they're looking at the reserves and the amount of oil that might be available, but they're also looking at the infrastructure within the country. Can we get that oil to the markets in which it can be sold? And the infrastructure in Venezuela is dilapidated. It has not been maintained. PDVSA has not done a good job of maintaining its infrastructure within the country itself. And you have other issues like security. How do you protect your workers there? These are very important questions that these CEOs are going to be asking themselves because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to ensure that they have good answers to those questions.
Trump's a deal maker. We know that. He wants this done. Do you anticipate the White House offering incentives, tax breaks, whatever, to make this a reality to these energy companies?
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I assume that that's going to be part of the equation. There are many things available to these companies, I should say, in the U.S. tax law as well as the international tax law today available to them. I don't know what else they might offer. I think what they're going to be looking for is just simply security. I mean, it's the basic things you have to think about when you're in a country like Venezuela, especially one that's been through the troubles that they have had over the course of the last 20 to 25 years. Can we protect our workers? Can we extract the investments that we make there? Those are very fundamental questions, and I think that's what is going to be on the table when Chris Wright sits down with these CEOs today and tomorrow.
Yeah. Mr. Secretary, the other major news item that developed overnight is the fact that the Trump administration told the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, that the only way that you'll be able to pump more oil in Venezuela is if you kick all the adversaries out of your country, China, Russia, Iran, Cuba, and exclusively do business with the United States. I mean, that is a complete shakeup of world order, and it could ultimately be what all of this was about to begin with. Do you think that will ultimately come to pass?
Well, I think it might, and I think that's really the important point here. It's not so much the amount of oil, 30 to 50 million barrels. Yes, that's important. Those are very important signals. But I think what the president really has in mind here is the larger geopolitical strategy. If we can put together an allied force with the United States, with Venezuela, with Brazil, with Guyana, where large reserves have been found over the last few years. And it fundamentally changes the geopolitics of energy and the geopolitics of foreign policy of the United States. Perhaps you can put together a pact that is a more effective pact against a more aggressive China. Those are the types of things I think the president is thinking about, and he's absolutely right to think about them.
What a moment in time, and it feels like we could be at the start of a new chapter, so we thank you so much for joining us to discuss it with us, former Energy Secretary Dan Bryant. We appreciate it very much.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to
like the video, fair use, reaction clip. Okay, so let's get to topics. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Hold on one second. Like the video as you guys come in. We're going to talk a few hot topics, trending topics. Many people have been talking about Jamal Bryant and his wife.
To tell you about. Earlier this afternoon, I had a second confirmation from the Spirit of God to tell you about Jamal Bryant. There was a lot of discussion in regards to what his wife wore, but I was able to peer into the spiritual realm as to who he was, and what God showed me contorted the Holy Spirit. He is a manipulator. He is a con artist. He is someone who peddles out a false gospel in order to receive a strong response from his congregation that also is laying waste in darkness. And his wife.
That's his opinion. A lot of people have been talking about Jamal Bryant and his wife. Many people have been calling them out in regards to their outfits, the outfit she wore. Many people have called it out. Everybody has their opinion, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. They like to trend. So he's actually been talking about people that's been speaking about him. Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in.
But I'm going to say it anyway. Man, y'all check this out.
I needed to deal with it head on because about a dress my wife had on. Now, they didn't say anything about the $4 million that was raised for the United Negro College Fund. They never mentioned that she prayed until heaven came down. They never said anything about this was the largest fundraiser for for HBCUs in the country. But insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded people got in their feelings and set up a false barometer of holiness based off of a dress. Now, you got to help some people because
things the black church will get mad at me for saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Man, y'all check this out.
I needed to deal with.
So many people have been speaking out. So then he hold on one second. Now, somebody had an idea where she could wear different dresses, amazing dresses. There was different options. That's a beautiful dress, covered up. That's a beautiful dress. And you see his outfit's not changing. That's a beautiful dress. So there's choices here. That's a beautiful dress. That's a beautiful dress. That's a beautiful dress. That's a beautiful dress. Beautiful as well. See, his outfit's not changing. Also beautiful. So there was choices here. She is grown. She can do what she wants. But many people were saying the event was not at the alleged church. It was at a different location. But there's definitely options. And then you have to remember he had said that he picked out the dress. Many people feel there's a standard in regards to a first lady and a standard in regards to a pastor. He's also been trending about different things that he's done, different things that he said. If y'all realize the video, let me go back and play this clip because people might have missed it yesterday. When I played it, people were like, what? He said what? He said it. Now, let me go back and play this for you of what Jamal Bryant had to say about his choices in dating, why he chose her. Hold on one second. Because people were like shocked that he said this.
I wanted a wife I would rush home to, that I wanted to be excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about.
So he's telling guys, if you don't have somebody you're excited about, trade her in. Let's play it again.
Have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that? Let me say to you, I'm a public servant. I've been a public servant my whole life. I don't mind, nor am I offended, nor am I moved if you talk about me. Have at it. But you ain't gonna talk about my wife. I wanted a wife I would rush home to, that I wanted to be excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about.
So he likes that guys are talking about his wife. Find somebody that men can talk about. He said it, not me. Yes, it's a hot mess. Hot mess. And people don't see, Tamron Hall probably didn't know who she was fooling with. Tamron Hall probably didn't know that he said that. Tamron Hall, when she interviewed him, she probably didn't know that he was saying to guys, men should be talking about your wife, and if they're not talking about her, trade her in.
If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that book.
This is Pastor Jamal. Him and his wife have been trending about the dress she wore at the other event. It's not this dress. She was trending in regards to this dress. So I'm just showing you that there's different options that she could have chose. There's some beautiful dresses out there. But in that speech, when he talked about the dress, he also said this on the pulpit. And a lot of people aren't talking about it. And I am. Tamron Hall probably just did not know. He said, trade her in. And you should shake it fast and watch yourself. She probably didn't hear the whole message. That's what happens when you interview people. Let's continue.
Walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booker in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that?
He sounds more like a street dude than a pastor. That's what he sounds like. And if you have an amazing pastor, it's an amazing thing for you to have an amazing pastor that helps the community. He don't cheat or lie on his wife. He's not in the community sticking and moving everywhere. If you have a pastor that does amazing things for the community, that's a blessing. But there's other pastors that's out there that love to trend, love to go viral, and they like to be talked about. And many people feel that he likes to be talked about. He likes to trend. He likes to go viral. Let's continue. I can't believe he said it.
You don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booker in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that? Let me say to you, I'm a public servant. I've been a public servant my whole life. I don't mind, nor am I offended, nor am I moved if you talk about me. Have at it. But you ain't gonna talk about my wife. I wanted a wife I would rush home to.
So he put her in the position to be talked about. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. So this is him responding to people and pastors. Hold on.
I ain't even gonna call no name, because I got so many preachers that's gonna preach about me week in and week out, and I'm amazed. I ain't even gonna call no names, but this is what I'll say to you. I find it interesting, the preachers who talk about preachers. Go check it out. Let me know if I'm wrong. The preachers who talk about preachers have never gone viral preaching about Jesus. Because I got so many preachers that's going to preach about me week in and...
So they've never gone viral about preaching about Jesus, but let's listen to what he said now. He sounded more street than like a preacher. He's made the choice to go viral. Like the video, fair use reaction clip.
Excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booker in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that? Let me say to you, I'm a public servant. I've been a public servant my whole life. I don't mind, nor am I offended, nor am I moved if you talk about me. Have at it. But you ain't gonna talk about my wife.
So many people have been talking about her because of the dress he put her in. Now there's some pastors that's sticking up for?
Man and his wife over the pulpit. Quite frankly, you couldn't preach.
Erica.
That was mighty weak of you to take a cheap shot at a man and his wife over the pulpit. Quite frankly, you couldn't preach your way out of a wet paper bag with a butter knife. If I was Pastor Jamal, I'd smack fire from your behind quicker than you could say, work on me, Jesus.
And then there's some that's sticking up for what he said and what he's done. What? I was about to see what they were. Oh, see, this was his original wife. His original wife was Giselle. He was married to Giselle. He got his divorce from Giselle, put Giselle through a lot. Now, it's amazing how some of the women will look alike, won't they?
Jamal Bryant's ex-wife from Real Housewives of Potomac commented on this famous dress, and here's what she had to say. Hey guys, it's your girl Gentray. Hey, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, just keep scrolling. But Pastor Jamal Bryant's wife, Dr. Carrie Bryant, wore a dress to an event last week, and it just took the internet by storm. It's been everywhere. Everybody's been talking about this dress. Well, his ex-wife, Giselle Bryant, from Real Housewives of Potomac, has a podcast, and they talked about it. Robin asked her a question, and I'm going to show you guys the clip of what she said. And y'all, we'll come back.
Pastors, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. I don't see nothing wrong with Jamal's wife's dress. Did you see that?
It's clear he has a type, right or wrong. This is his ex-wife in the white shirt, and his new wife, they look very, very similar. Isn't it something how a man will date somebody or marry someone that looks like his ex? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
It was fine. It was fine. Yes. But all the discourse online, yes. I don't see anything wrong with that dress.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yes.
But this is the thing. You know, people going to have their commentary one way or the other. And you would think you would not feed into the commentary, Pastor.
That part.
So her dress was fine. But
he's going to feed into it because he likes to go viral. And she knows he likes to go viral.
That part.
So her dress was fine, but and people gonna have, say whatever they want to say. Let's just not feed into it. That's all.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, because that's when you make it unnecessarily bigger than it is.
Yeah, you bring more attention to it for sure. Yeah. But I also think, I don't know. I'm just like, it was an unnecessary discussion. Period. Yeah. So just leave it alone. But it was made a moment for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe use a different platform for that. I don't know that Sunday service is the place to talk about.
Agreed. And I'm not going to tell him when and where to say whatever he has to say. Yeah. But maybe it was a Bible study moment, right? Which is not on Sunday.
Right.
Let's Sunday.
So his ex-wife is saying he should not have addressed it on the pulpit, talking to his members.
When and where to say whatever he has to say.
Yeah.
But maybe it was a Bible study moment, right? Which is not on Sunday.
Right.
Let's Sunday for the word of the Lord.
Yes. Because I didn't see the connection to the word of the Lord. Sometimes it's like they talk, they might talk about something current event that's going on and they bring it full circle to the word of the Lord. But I missed that one. I missed it.
I think she answered well for the conversation. I'm sure it's awkward, but her podcast does.
Because years ago, Giselle was in a pants outfit that was black and it had a little look to it too. So she's not surprised because she wore something very similar. So it is what it is. Pastors are going to do what pastors want to do.
Her podcast does cover current events, and that was a current event. So get your money, girl. But y'all comment below. Giselle Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant's ex-wife from Real Housewives of Potomac.
So there's that. So Giselle has responded in regards to the outfit. Why not talk about him marrying somebody that looked very similar to you? He has a type for sure. And if you check out my video yesterday, he had a lot to say about his ex-wife being on the show, making it seem like if it wasn't for her, she wouldn't have had a storyline. He's something else, y'all. Go check out my video yesterday. He's something else. Let's continue.
Y'all, we'll come back.
Let's continue. Hot topics, trending topics. Hold on. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh my goodness. So it's being reported that it is Blue Ivy's birthday. So happy birthday to the Blue Ivy. Let's see. Don Lemon funny.
Gets in it, and I want to really, when she gets in it, and I want to really,
So
when she gets in it, and
that's the video everybody been talking about, Donald Trump making that noise. Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Is there anything? This is his wife, gorgeous. So she knows how to dress. She be serving it up. She looks gorgeous. She looks gorgeous. She knows how to dress. And it seems as if they have a lot of fun too. When I see different pictures, it seems like they have a lot of fun. She makes him smile. He makes her smile. So that's the one thing I do like about it. I'm not here to just, you know what I'm saying? It seems like they have a good time together. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It seems like they have a lot of good times together. Real talk. So there's that. So this is them on Tamron Hall. So like I said, I'm sure Tamron Hall just did not know. And I would have asked, why do you need to say what you said in regards to should men trade women in? Their staff probably didn't even know he said that. If you're just not coming in, let me play this clip again.
And I wanted to be excited to see when we walked in there. I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that? Let me say to you, I'm a public servant. I've been a public servant my whole life. I don't mind, nor am I offended, nor am I moved if you talk about me. Have at it. But you ain't gonna talk about my wife. I wanted a white.
So he picked the dress they like to trend and go viral. Okay, y'all, I just wanted to go live for a little while. It's been 52 minutes. Please get the likes up. I thank everyone for being here. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by a statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. It is what it is. He picked the dress. She wore the dress. Many people are calling out the dress. Was it suitable? Was it appropriate? Churches will be churches. There are, like I've said before, there are a lot of amazing churches out there. They help the community. The pastor's great to his wife, great to his children. There's no pastors or ministers or bishops amongst him and any in regards to them sleeping with the congregation or sleeping with someone else's partner. There are a lot of amazing churches out there. Hopefully you're an amazing church that helps the community. The pastor's a great pastor. He loves on his family and he loves his community. So there's other pastors out there that are trending going viral. It is what it is. So I'm wishing everyone well. Please don't forget to hit subscribe. If all 56 hit subscribe, that'll be an amazing day for me. Now there's 79 in the building. If all 79 subscribe, that would be an amazing day for me. So please hit the subscribe button. Support the channel by subscribing. Continue to hit the like button for the replay game. I appreciate everyone for being here. Everyone have an amazing Thursday. Have an amazing weekend. Depending on what you have plans for doing. Enjoy your weekend. I wish everyone well. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. Be blessed.